Your dog is currently sitting right outside the bathroom door. He's been there the moment you close the doorknob. He wasn't startled by a sudden noise or pacing around in visibly distressed form. He simply followed your footprints to this exact spot, sat down, and decided that this cold hallway floor, 3 feet away from a closed wooden barrier, is the most important place in the world. When we witness this shadowing behavior, our human instincts often force us into one of two psychological choices. We either believe in the anxiety myth, concluding that our dog is a fragile creature that falls apart the moment a door separates us, or we embrace the romantic myth, assuming it's a purely emotional display of unconditional love. In the specialized world of animal science, dogs exhibiting this relentless room-to-room tracking behavior have earned a special name: Velcro dogs. For years, this has been heard as a diagnosis, a label, implying that something has gone slightly off track in the dog's developmental journey. The Smart Dog Lab discovered that dogs spent significantly longer on a puzzle when their owner was in the room. They were poked and prodded, but continued to work on the fruitless task. However, as soon as the owner left, the dogs lost interest almost instantly. Whenever your dog encounters something unfamiliar, an unexpected sound, a new table in the yard, a stranger at the door, it does something almost automatically. It turns and looks directly at you. Researchers at the University of Milan studied this directly using a fan covered with long green strips. If your dog uses you as its most important source of information, physical proximity becomes a tactical necessity. Your dog gains uninterrupted visual access to that information source. When you move, they move too. This isn't out of clinginess, but to keep the information desk accessible in case something unexpected happens. Have you ever wondered why your dog follows one person in the house more than others? It's rarely about who's the most affectionate. Rather, research shows they gravitate towards whoever is the most consistent source of relevant interaction. In 2017, private researchers at Princeton University identified a biological reason for this imperfection written into the dog's genome. They found structural variants in 2 different genes called GTF2I and GTF2IRD1. In humans, deletion of these same genes causes Williams-Buren syndrome. A healthy Velcro dog will simply follow because it chooses that path, but it can settle down and rest when you're home. Clinical anxiety, however, is a persistent and escalating state of distress that isn't resolved simply by being in the same room. Your dog didn't just sit in a random spot. It positioned itself at the most efficient sensory access point. That shadow on your heels isn't a personality flaw. It's the greatest compliment animal cognitive science can offer. To understand this behavior very clearly, we need to look at how a child interacts with their parent at the edge of a playground. The child doesn't cling to the parent's leg. They run, explore, climb. But they definitely look back every few minutes. They're not checking if the parent is going away, but confirming their safe base. The parent is a psychological construct that makes the rest of the world manageable. The dog outside your bathroom door is doing exactly that. They're not waiting because they're fragile. They're waiting because you are the reference point that makes the world safe enough to exist in. In the Smart Dog Lab experiments, researchers included a stranger in the experiment to see if any person would suffice. It didn't. The dog's clear determination and cognitive drive were triggered specifically and solely by its owners. A stranger, no matter how friendly, contributed 0 to the dog's self-confidence. This tells us that Velcro behavior isn't a general social need. It's a highly localized, established bond formed with a specific person. Your dog isn't just seeking attention. It's seeking that unique psychological signal you're emitting. A 2024 study introduced a fascinating concept: intelligent uncertainty management. They found that dogs, in new locations, mirror the unnecessary steps of their handlers. Even if the dog knows a shorter route, it chooses to follow the exact, more complex path taken by its human. Why? Because in this world where the rules are uncertain, the smartest strategy is to stay close to the one who knows the way. It's following you all the way to the kitchen isn't just about food. It's a navigation strategy designed to manage the uncertainty of a man-made world. This special bond goes deeper than simply following bodies. It's about following emotions. In the Milan study, researchers noticed that dogs weren't just looking at their owner's face. They were changing their behavior based on the emotional messages they were receiving. If the owner looked at the strange fan with concern, the dog recoiled. If the owner smiled, the dog approached. This emotional contagion is why your dog stays close during your stressful moments. They're getting visual access to your face to gauge how they should feel. They're not just your shadow, they're your emotional mirror. Even behind a closed door, the Velcro bond actively continues through other senses. Your dog's position at the bathroom door is sensorially calculated. They stay close because that's where the airflow carries your scent most strongly. They listen to the micro sounds of your movements, the rustling of clothes, the sound of water, to predict when the barrier will open. They've spent months creating a sensory map of you. Staying close isn't a lack of independence. It's a masterpiece of biological surveillance on the person they value most. The GTF2I and GTF2IRD1. Genetic variants didn't arise by chance. Thousands of years ago, wolves that were less wary of humans, those carrying these specific variants, survived in the immediate vicinity of human camps. We didn't just domesticate wolves. We selected a genetically easy habit for human bonding. When your dog follows you from the couch to the refrigerator, you're witnessing the result of thousands of years of socialization selection. They aren't clingy. They are descendants of some of the most socially successful animals in planetary history. This proximity serves a worthwhile purpose. It enhances the dog's learning performance. Studies show that dogs learn human gestures and commands much faster when in a state of high proximity. By staying close, the dog is essentially in a constant learning state, ready to receive instructions, prepared to grasp a signal, and ready to react. In the dog's mind, being 3 rooms away is like having a weak Wi-Fi signal. They stay close to ensure that communication bandwidth between your species remains at 100%. How do you know if your dog's tracking is healthy? Check how they sleep. A healthy Velcro dog will choose to follow you when you're active, yes, but they can fall into a deep, comfortable sleep once you settle down. They might be in a different room or find a comfortable spot to fall asleep because they trust that the safe base is still there. In contrast, a dog with separation anxiety can't really sleep. They're in a state of hyper-wakefulness, constantly waking up to check your location. Tracking is a characteristic of the bond. The inability to rest is a sign of a problem. This behavior first began thousands of years ago, built upon the freezing nights of the Pleistocene when people snuggled close to each other. Back then, proximity wasn't just a preference. It was the difference between life and death. The Velcro instinct kept the dog warm and warned the human of predators. We are the architects of this behavior. We invited them in and they stayed. Today, the dog at your door carries the torch of that ancient fire, a living testament to the most successful interspecies partnership in the history of life on Earth. So the next time your dog sits outside the bathroom door, remember this. It's not a personality flaw or a developmental wound. It's a biological architecture formed to establish a bond. Your dog is watching your movements because you are the most interesting, helpful, and reliable person in their world. They stay close because they feel better with you. It's not clinginess. It's the greatest compliment animal cognition can offer. If this has changed the way you see your shadow, subscribe and tell us. Who is your safe base in your home?